Long hair has always carried a sense of beauty, freedom, and elegance. For many women, especially after 50, keeping long hair feels like holding on to a timeless identity. It frames the shoulders, adds femininity, and can make us feel youthful in the best way. But here's the challenge no one likes to talk about. One-length long hair is not always as flattering as we think. Just like wearing a loose, unshaped dress, hair without layers can sometimes drag the face downward, making features appear heavier instead of lifted. The truth is, long hair after 50 can look stunning if it is cut the right way. The problem is not the length itself, but the way the cut either enhances or hides your best features. And that is exactly what we are going to uncover today. From common layering mistakes to smart fixes and even safe at-home solutions, this guide will show you how to keep your long hair looking modern, flattering, and full of life well into your 50s, 60s, and beyond. For decades, long one-length hair has been viewed as elegant, simple, and versatile. Many women keep this style after 50 because it feels safe. No complicated layers, no maintenance headaches, just length that flows. On the surface, it sounds perfect. But the truth is, hair cut in one single line often lacks the structure that makes it truly flattering. Think of it like fashion. When you slip into a free-flowing dress without any tailoring, it covers your body but does not define your shape. The fabric hangs, and while it might feel comfortable, it rarely shows off your best features. One-length hair behaves the same way. It covers, but it does not contour. Instead of lifting your cheekbones or softening your jawline, it can drag the face downward, creating the illusion of heaviness or even fatigue. For women over 50, this becomes more noticeable. As hair naturally loses density with age, a blunt one-length cut can emphasize the lack of volume at the crown or the sides. What should feel graceful and youthful can end up making the overall silhouette appear flat and lifeless. Of course, one-length hair is not always bad. It can look stunning on the right face shape or with thicker hair types, but the problem is that it does not provide flexibility. Without layers, it is harder to redirect attention toward the features you love, your eyes, your smile, your neckline, and away from areas you would prefer to soften. That is why the conversation around long hair after 50 is not about giving it up. It is about learning how to make it work for you. And that starts with understanding the common mistakes that happen when stylists attempt to add layers to one-length hair. To truly see why women often feel disappointed after trying layers, we need to look at the most common cutting mistakes that make layering seem scary, starting with overlayering at the ends. Layering, when done correctly, can be the secret to making long hair look youthful and dynamic. But for many women over 50, the word layers brings back memories of frustration, thin, choppy ends that were nearly impossible to style. The truth is, this bad reputation does not come from the idea of layering itself. It comes from the way layers are often cut. The most common mistake is overlayering at the bottom. Stylists, following techniques taught in beauty schools, often pull all the hair straight down and cut through the ends. While this might create movement on thick, young hair, it is disastrous for mature hair that is naturally finer. The result is a stringy, uneven finish that makes the bottom look thin instead of full. Instead of giving you volume, it robs your hair of its strength and weight. For women over 50, these mistakes are amplified. Natural thinning combined with poorly placed layers makes the hair harder to manage. Blow drying becomes a daily struggle because you are fighting against too many uneven lengths. Curling irons cannot smooth the choppiness. Instead of waking up with flattering hair, you end up investing extra time just to make it look presentable. No wonder so many women leave the salon saying, "never again." But here's the reality. The problem is not layering, it is technique. Once you understand what went wrong, you can also learn how to fix it and regain trust in layers that actually work for your face and lifestyle. The good news is that these mistakes are not permanent. With the right cutting strategy, you can protect fullness at the bottom while still enjoying the benefits of layering. Let's look at how to fix overlayering and create a cut that finally works. If you have ever walked out of a salon with ends that looked stringy or thin, the frustration can be enough to swear off layers forever. But here's the truth. The problem is not layering itself, it is where the layers are placed. Fixing overlayering is actually simple once you know the rule of the parietal ridge. The parietal ridge is the curved area that runs from just above one ear over the crown to the other ear. Think of it as the dividing line of the head. Everything below that line should stay almost one length. This is the foundation that gives your hair weight and structure. When stylists mistakenly cut layers below this ridge, they weaken the base, and the ends collapse into that thin, wispy look. By leaving the hair below the parietal ridge untouched, you protect fullness at the bottom. The result is a thicker-looking hemline that holds shape and gives your style strength. Above that ridge is where layering should happen. Adding soft, well-placed layers in the upper section creates body, movement, and lightness without sacrificing the visual density of your hair. For women over 50, this technique is a game changer. Natural thinning happens with age, so every bit of fullness at the bottom matters. Think of it like tailoring a dress. You don't cut away fabric at the hemline. You shape the top for fit while keeping the base intact for structure. The same principle keeps your long hair elegant, youthful, and flattering. When you are in the salon, a simple phrase can make all the difference. Please keep everything below my parietal ridge one length and only layer above it. Clear communication helps your stylist avoid overlayering and ensures your cut supports both beauty and manageability. Of course, overlayering is not the only mistake to watch out for. Another common error is when top layers are cut too short, creating the dreaded mushroom shape. Let's explore why that happens and how to prevent it. No one ever sits in the salon chair asking for a mushroom cut, yet it remains one of the most frequent layering disasters. The story usually begins with good intentions. A client complains that her hair feels flat or lifeless on top, so the stylist decides to cut shorter layers at the crown to add volume. Unfortunately, if those top layers are taken too short in comparison to the overall length, the shape balloons outward. The result? A rounded, puffy silhouette that resembles a mushroom. The mushroom cut is more than just unflattering, it disrupts balance. Instead of creating lift and elegance, it drags attention to the crown while leaving the rest of the hair looking disconnected. For women over 50, this is especially problematic. A bulky crown paired with thin ends exaggerates aging hair concerns, making the style feel heavy and dated instead of graceful. Avoiding this mistake is easier than most people think. The key lies in using the occipital bone as a guide. If you take a section of hair from the occipital bone and lift it straight up, the layers on the crown should never be shorter than that section. This simple check ensures harmony between the top and the length. It's a quick test you can even demonstrate to your stylist, helping you communicate exactly how short is too short. By following this guideline, you create layers that blend naturally with your long hair, adding movement without overwhelming the silhouette. Instead of puffiness, you get shape and flow. The end result feels modern, flattering, and polished. Everything you want long hair after 50 to be. Now that we know what to avoid with both the ends and the crown, the question becomes, where should you start if you want the benefits of layering without the risks? The answer lies in one safe and flattering approach: front layers. After seeing how overlayering at the bottom or cutting the crown too short can backfire, you may wonder if layering is even worth the risk. The truth is, there is a safe and flattering way to enjoy the benefits of layers without the common mistakes, and it begins with the front. Front layers are the perfect introduction to layering, especially for women over 50. Instead of cutting into the fullness of your back length, these layers are placed only around the face. This approach softens strong lines, frames your features beautifully, and creates gentle movement where it matters most, near your eyes, cheekbones, and jawline. The rest of the hair remains solid and strong, so you never lose that sense of thickness. What makes front layers such a safe choice is how they grow out. Even if you decide they are not for you, they blend back into your hair with minimal awkwardness. Unlike crown layers that can take months to even out, front layers fade naturally and still look intentional as they lengthen. You can also style them in different ways: straight for a one-length illusion, curled for softness, or tucked behind the ear for simplicity. For women with fine or thinning hair, front layers provide dimension without sacrificing density. For those with thicker hair, they remove heaviness around the face while keeping the rest balanced. It's a universal solution that adapts to different hair textures and personal styles. Most importantly, front layers let you test the waters of layering. You gain shape, modernity, and youthfulness without risking mushroom cuts or thin ends. It's the stylist's equivalent of tailoring a dress at the neckline instead of hacking away at the hem. A small strategic adjustment that changes everything. Now that you know a safe entry point into layering, the next challenge is finding the right stylist, or deciding if you should take matters into your own hands. Let's explore how to choose wisely and why DIY front layers might be easier than you think. One of the biggest frustrations for women over 50 is walking into a salon and not being sure if the stylist truly understands mature hair. The reality is, many stylists are still using outdated techniques that lead to overlayering or mushroom cuts. That's why communication is essential. A simple sentence like, "Please leave everything below my parietal ridge one length and layer only above it," can protect you from the most common mistakes. Still, even with clear instructions, finding the right stylist may take time. That's why many women experiment with DIY front layers at home. It sounds intimidating, but with the right guide, it's surprisingly safe. Because you're only cutting the front, mistakes are minimal, and the layers naturally blend as they grow. Whether you trust a stylist or try it yourself, the goal is the same: layers that enhance, not overwhelm. Once you see how simple adjustments make your long hair look fuller and fresher, you'll never fear layering again. Long hair after 50 is not something you need to give up. The real secret lies in how it is shaped. We've seen that one-length hair, while simple, can sometimes weigh the face down. We've also uncovered the dangers of overlayering at the ends and cutting the crown too short, which lead to thin, fragile hair or the dreaded mushroom effect. But when layers are placed thoughtfully, protecting fullness at the bottom, balancing the top with the occipital bone, and starting gently with front layers, the results are transformational. For women over 50, this is about more than just hair. It's about confidence, elegance, and expressing the best version of yourself at any age. The right cut doesn't erase your years, it celebrates them, giving you a modern, flattering style that works with your natural beauty instead of against it. So if you've been hesitant about layers, let this be your encouragement. Try soft front layers, talk clearly with your stylist, or even experiment at home with safe techniques. You might be surprised at how much younger, lighter, and more vibrant your long hair can look. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more style and hair advice tailored for women over 50 and beyond. And I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had a bad experience with layers, or have you found a cut that truly works for you? Share your story in the comments below. For more inspiration, don't miss the next video where I walk you step by step through a safe way to create front layers at home. Until then, wear your hair with pride, because age is not a limit, it's your power.